Yo guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the summer roadmap. So it just got released a couple hours ago and I have taken a look at it, but I just kind of wanted to talk about it overall really quickly and then some additional thoughts that I had. So we'll go ahead and jump right into it. Okay, so the big thing in July is going to be the Paradise system. Something that they mentioned in the video, but not in the notes, is that this whole Paradise system is not a gold sync, and instead it will be something that you can get gold from, which is really important because they do say specifically that you're going to be upgrading your gear and stuff like that. And so in Lost Ark, typically that means it's a gold sync. But that's not going to be the way that this apparently works. So the Paradise system is split into three pieces: Elysian, Crucible, and Hell. So in Elysian, you're going to get some of your Legacy Paradise gear, which is going to be upgraded through what they said is two different ways. There's going to be a stat boost, and then there's going to be a resonance thing, which gives additional effects once you meet different thresholds. What these mean, we don't really know, but again, they did specifically state that this is going to not be a gold sync, which is really, really good. And then they have the Crucible system, which is going to be a 1v1 versus a boss. So they said that a lot of the power, nearly all the power that you're gonna have in this content is gonna be coming from your Legacy of Paradise gear. And they did say a lot of it was gonna be coming from these special effects on this gear. Again, we'll have to wait and see what that means, but ideally, the theory is that this won't be a pay-to-win system, and this will be something that if you put time and effort in, maybe RNG will play a bigger factor, we don't really know. But it does mean you could potentially do well in this and get a high ranking score for your boss kill. And then on clearing the boss, you'll get access to Hell, which is going to give you, basically you get some keys, which it sounds like you're going to have different levels of keys that get you into different parts of this 100 floor dungeon. And then your rewards will be based upon like how far you get in the dungeon. It doesn't sound like you get a regular key and you have to traverse all 100 floors. So I'm imagining it's something similar to maybe you get a key that says level like 10 to 30 or something like that. And then you clear those floors and you get the reward. They did say also, I think that there's going to be a potential way inside of the dungeon that you can maybe extend your, like how long you're in there or how many floors you can do. But again, we'll have to kind of all wait and see. The bigger part being is this doesn't look like it's going to be a pay-to-win system, which is, I think, really, really good. Something they talked a little bit more about during the actual video, too, was what Paradise is going to reward us. And they mentioned it briefly here. So earn and equip an orb, a special piece of gear that carries power outside of Paradise based on the peak seasonal progression. So in the video, Rox very specifically says that the orb's power will actually be tied to the power of your Paradise gear for that season. And then also that after the season comes to a close, the power that you have on there will become permanent and you'll be able to, I guess, take it with you afterwards. But then the next season will add a better, more powerful orb. Now, what that means is, you know, we'll have to wait and see, but it does seem like the orb is going to be more than just a stat stick. It sounded like it was going to be some additional, you know, functionality in some way. And so there could be a scenario where this kind of becomes a FOMO piece of gear that you need to get, like, oh, this season's orb is really, really good. And so you might need it for future seasons. Make sure you get it now and get it maxed. So that is something to be aware of too, but just, you know, we'll have to wait and see. I'm still hopeful that this is going to be a really great system. And yeah, yo, really quick to clarify, guys. I think it's actually really important that there's something, you know, in the game that players can get while they're playing the game and being active players and stuff like that, that can be unique. There's something to be said about things that are, oh, you should have been there for that, or you could have been there for that, or whatever. You know, sure, it can be a bit FOMO-y, but as long as it's not too powerful or too game breaking or anything like that, I think it's really, really an okay thing to reward players who are constantly playing your game. And, you know, other people are potentially going to miss out on stuff like that. So it does bring players back to the game, keeps people, you know, interested and working towards their goals in the short term. I think that's actually really okay and really good for the game. My really only complaint about the Paradise system is that they did say very specifically that it is intended only for players 1580 and above. And if you've watched any of my previous videos, you might have realized that at this point they haven't really done anything about getting new players or returning players more characters up to 1580. And so it is still a very expensive endeavor to get a character, a brand new character from, you know, those lower levels up until 1580 without an event. So I was really hoping that they were going to fix that, but it doesn't look like they've addressed that in any way, shape, or form here. So I'm a little disappointed about that. Hopefully in the future they can figure something out for that. And then also in July, we're going to be getting the new solo modes, and then also the Mokoko bootcamp, which is going to be good because they're going to include it all the way up to 1689. I don't know if you guys remember that, but before they said basically that they wanted to get it so the first 10 times a new account is going to be doing that content, they'll count as a Mokoko. I think that's really good, and also having this higher item level means that even if they decide to overhone, they're not going to be punished and they're not going to lose their Mokoko status just because they want to overhone and play it maybe a little safe. Through the power of editing, one thing I also wanted to add was I think it's actually really, really important that they're adding in this system for the Mokokos, specifically because they're adding in the power system. And so once we get that power system, I think it's going to be much, much harder for those Mokokos or those players who aren't quite as far along in some of those other systems to actually get into groups, because they're going to be kept by that power number that they just don't have. So this is good. I'm glad to see it in the game, and we definitely need something like this going forward forever. And then of course we're also going to be getting some other quality of life systems. Now, something I didn't realize, but in the video they actually said the skin system book comes with power apparently in the KR version of the game. So we will not be getting that, and instead it's just going to be the base system, which I think is really, really good. Putting those oddly pay to win systems in the game don't need to be there for sure. And honestly, I can't believe no one's talking about this, because like having to do a bigger collection of skins to get more damage is kind of crazy. So they're also going to do the Unitask overhaul and then get us the balance patch stuff that we need, as well as some other things. But those are kind of the big things for July. So in August, we are going to be getting the Valkyrie and also the Prestige shop. This is going to be our version of the mileage shop, and yeah. I'm really, really excited about Valkyrie. I'm kind of bummed we have to wait until August to see her. It does seem also like the patches are going to be at the end of the month, so this will likely be at least middle to late August. So, you know, plan accordingly if you need to save your gold. Okay, so in September, we're going to be getting the Strike Raid. Now, I do want to talk about this just for a brief moment. The Strike Raid in KR was a limited time event, and they did say for us it will be a limited time event as well. And what it ended up doing was if you were at a certain item level, you would stop doing AEGIR and you would do this instead. Now, what's happened since then is they've gone back to doing hard mode AEGIR, and they do not seem to be enjoying it. Shocker. So I have a personal vendetta against AEGIR. I really dislike that raid, and I would rather do any other raid in the history of Lost Ark other than doing that raid. So personally, what I would like to see them do is not make this a limited time event, or if it is going to be limited time, carry it all the way through until Kazaros. You know, either of those choices are fine, but honestly, if I was AGS, I would do whatever I could to get everyone away from AEGIR as fast as possible. The thing that a lot of people don't seem to understand, whenever I critique AEGIR, it's always talking about the raid objectively being bad. And I don't care if a raid is easy, it can still be bad. And AEGIR is a bad raid. There's way too many like disjoint things where you're loading in, you're jumping to the next platform, and it's all cutscene after cutscene after cutscene. Like you do a little damage and then a cutscene. You do a little damage and a cutscene. A little, like both gate 1 and 2 are very cutscene and like almost load screen basically oriented, and it feels really bad to play. So I think objectively those are just bad fights, and it's just a bad raid overall. And so the more time that people spend in there, the more time that they're going to get annoyed. And again, it doesn't mean that it's hard. These things aren't hard. It's just annoying, and it's not very fun. And it's a video game. We kind of play it for fun. So we should be playing things that are fun. Anyway, that's kind of my rant about that. I did make a post on the thing, so feel free to go look about making the Strike Raid not limited time. That's just one option and how I would prefer them to solve this. But it does come with its own issues. It would obviously add to gold inflation and stuff like that. But if they do that right, they don't have to worry about that as hard either. So it's kind of up to them on how they want to do it. Either way, that is going to be what's coming for us in September. And then they also did talk a little bit about Kazaros is coming later this year. So just in general, like that's kind of what we're looking at for the rest of the year. Kind of big updates and things are looking up. Wait, really quick before we go, guys. This is towards the end of the video, but wow, what a beautiful picture of our beloved. That's right. She's gonna be coming in August, and I am so very excited. Things are looking good and things are looking bright. I'm definitely looking forward to it. There's more quality of life and things like that that are coming, and I'm looking forward to checking out Paradise. I'm really excited to see a non-pay-to-win system that's not catered towards whales. So I think that will be a really cool and fun experience for people in this game, and also, you know, it could be really important to the future health of the game overall, I think. Well, this is the end of the video, guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and watching it today. I greatly appreciate it. If you liked the video, leave a like down below or comment or whatever. Always around for discussions and stuff. Do you have a better way that they could solve the AEGIR problem? Personally, I wish that they would just get rid of the raid entirely and put the strike raid in there instead. Put the AEGIR mats on a vendor and call it a day. But we'll probably not get that. So anyway, I'll catch you guys later and have a good one. Peace out.